Hello students. So today in this video we are going to study about the forces acting between two parallel current carrying conductors. Means we have two conductors, current is flowing through them, and we are going to study the forces acting between those two conductors. Okay. So for this, here we are going to draw two conductors having current flowing through them. Okay, so here in the diagram I have two conductors AB and CD placed parallel to each other and current is flowing through them. Now there are two possibilities that current is flowing in same direction in both the conductors, and the second possibility is current is flowing in opposite direction. So first of all, I am taking that current is flowing in same direction. That means if current is flowing from A to B, then here in C to D current will flow from C to D. Okay, so in A to B, let the current flowing is I1, and in C to D let the current be I2. Alright, so to study this phenomena, the forces acting between two parallel current carrying conductors, we have to keep in mind three concepts. First is Oersted experiment, right, that states that whenever we have a current carrying conductor, a magnetic field is set up around it. Okay, means a current carrying conductor is capable to generate magnetic field in its nearby region. Second concept is right hand thumb rule, that we are going to use to find the direction of magnetic field. And the third one is that we have studied in the previous video, that when a conductor is placed in a magnetic field, then force acts on it because of that magnetic field. Means the third concept is force acting on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. Now these are the three concepts that we are going to use to study the forces between two parallel current carrying conductors. So let's see how it works. First of all, we are going to consider these conductors one by one. Suppose I am considering the conductor AB. Now this current carrying conductor that carries the current I1, okay, because of the Oersted observations, this current carrying conductor is capable of producing some magnetic field in the nearby region. Alright, let the magnetic field that is produced by the conductor AB is B1. So B1 is the magnetic field because of the conductor AB, that is the first conductor we consider, and it gets set up around the region of AB. Now we want to find the direction of this magnetic field B1. So we will use right hand thumb rule, and according to right hand thumb rule, we have to hold this conductor. Suppose this is the conductor, then we have to hold this conductor from our right hand such that the thumb of our right hand points towards the direction of current, and the direction of finger will point the direction of magnetic field. Okay, so because of this conductor, the magnetic field B1 set up around the region, and its direction at the right side of the conductor, the direction of magnetic field is like going into the plane of paper. If you hold this pen like this conductor like this, then it will be going into the plane of paper. So the field B1 acts perpendicular to the wire CD and points into the plane of paper. Till now what we have concluded, that because of Oersted experiment there exists a magnetic field B1 because of current carrying conductor AB, and direction of B1 is such that it acts perpendicular to wire CD and points into the plane of paper. Okay, so and we know that we denote such field by a cross. So let us consider any point on the wire CD, and this is the magnetic field at that point, which we are going to show by using a cross, right? So this is the magnetic field B1 vector, because it is because of the conductor 1 AB. so AB की वजह से CD पर जो magnetic field लग रहा है, that is B1 vector. Okay, now if we consider the conductor 2, so in conductor 2 CD, the current flowing is I2. The current flowing is I2, and because of this current I2, it also set up a magnetic field in the region around it, and the direction of that magnetic field is again defined by using right hand thumb rule. So now we are going to hold this conductor CD from our right hand and want to know the direction of magnetic field around it. So when we hold this conductor CD like this, then in the right side of the conductor it will go inside the plane, and from the right, at the right side of the conductor, the magnetic field comes out of the plane of the paper. Okay, it is like this. So the field lines comes out of the plane of the paper, this. That means in this region there is a magnetic field because of conductor CD. Let that magnetic field be B2 vector, and the direction of that magnetic field is such that it is perpendicular to AB and come out of the plane of the paper. Alright, so the magnetic field here at the conductor AB is actually B2, and its direction is perpendicular to the plane of paper, or the perpendicular to wire AB and coming out of the plane of the paper, B2 vector. So now what we have, conductor AB is placed in the magnetic field B2 because of the conductor CD, and conductor CD is placed in the magnetic field B1 because of the conductor AB. Now comes to the third concept that we have studied, this force acting on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. We know that whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, there exists some force on that conductor because of the magnetic field. So in both conductors AB and CD, there exists some force, and that force is because of the magnetic fields. Like for AB it is because of B2 vector, and for CD it is because of B1 vector. Now let's see the direction of these forces. This direction can be find out by using Fleming's left hand rule. As we know that the force that acts on the current carrying conductor, we can find its direction by using Fleming's left hand rule. So according to Fleming's left hand rule, we have to set our left hand like this, and forefinger will point towards magnetic field, and this central finger will point towards the current. In that, then this thumbs of left hand point towards the force acting on the wire. So in case of conductor AB, the forefinger will point coming out of the plane of the paper. Okay, finger will point towards the direction AB, So in this case, when you see your hand, it will be pointing like this. Okay, and the direction of thumb will be towards CD, that means like this. So this is the force F1 vector that act on the conductor AB because of the field B2 vector. Okay, now in this case, if we use Fleming's left hand rule, our forefinger will point towards inside the plane of paper. Current is flowing towards CD, so central finger will point towards CD. So in this case, force will point like this towards AB, means this is force F2 vector. That means both the wires will get attracted to each other. Their force is acting towards each other. That means both the wires will get attracted towards each other when they have parallel currents. Okay, let's see the magnitude of these values also. If we talk about B1, the magnitude of B1, we know that the magnetic field produced by a current at any point on the wire CD, that is B1, it will be mu naught I upon 2 pi r. Okay, mu naught I upon 2 pi r, where r is the distance, means the point at which we are observing the magnetic field is at a distance r from the conductor. So in this case, B1 has magnitude equals to mu naught I upon I1, because B1 is produced because of the current I1, 2 pi r, and B2 is equal to mu naught I2, and it is again 2 pi r, because the distance is r from both sides. Now F1 is the force acting on first because of B2. F1 is the force acting on first conductor because of magnetic field B2. So it will be, F1 will be I1 B2 and L sine theta. Now theta is the angle between length and magnetic field, and we know that the magnetic field is perpendicular to the wire, so it will be sine 90. So it is I1 B2 L, and I1 B2 L is equal to, we will put this value, then we get mu naught I1 I2, mu naught I1 I2 L upon 2 pi r. Okay, so this is the force F1 that acts on the conductor AB. If we want to find the force acting per unit length, force acting per unit length, then it will be F is equal to F1 upon L, and the value we will get mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r. This is the force acting per unit length of the wire AB, because F1 is acting on AB. We are talking about AB. Now come to the wire, this was for AB, come to the wire CD. In case of CD, F2 is equal to I2. This F2 is because of B1, length L, and sine theta is again 90 because magnetic field is perpendicular to the wire CD also. The magnetic field B1 acting perpendicular to the wire, then it will be I2 B1 L. Substituting the value of B1, we get mu naught I1 I2 L upon 2 pi r. So again, force acting per unit length F is equal to F2 upon L, mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r. So here we conclude that both F1 and F2 are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. So this shows that F1 vector is equal to minus F2 vector. That means both the wire will experience equal but opposite forces because of each other. Okay, so when the currents in the two parallel wires flow in same direction, the forces between the two wires are equal and attractive. They are in opposite directions, that means they attract each other. Forces act towards each other. Okay, like that. Means if we have two parallel wires having current flowing in the same direction, these wires will get attracted to each other. So the conclusion is parallel current attracts. Now we are going to see its opposite case. Okay, so now we are going to see what happens when these two parallel conductors have currents flowing in opposite direction. For this we consider two conductors AB and CD again. Current flowing in AB is from A to B, that is I1, and current flowing in CD, it's this time it is from D to C, because we want to see how it will work when the current flow in opposite direction. So we consider the current in the direction D to C. Now we talk about magnetic field that is produced because of the conductor AB. So that magnetic field will be B1, and its direction can be defined by using right hand thumb rule like this. We have to hold it like this. So because of this, the direction of this magnetic field B1 at some point in this region will be perpendicular to the wire CD and into the plane of the paper, into the plane of the paper. So we are going to show this by a cross because it is going perpendicular to CD and it is into the plane of paper. But if we talk about the conductor CD, means magnetic field because of the conductor CD, so current is flowing in it like this, means we have a conductor that we have to hold like this, okay, from our right hand. This is the direction of current and these are our fingers curl like this. So this time the magnetic field here at conductor AB will also act as perpendicular to wire AB and into the plane of paper, okay, because current is going like this, so it will be into the plane of paper. So again here at AB we have to represent the magnetic field by a cross. So this is the field B1 and this is the field B2. Now we apply Fleming's left hand rule to see the direction of force. So if we apply Fleming's left hand rule here at AB, we get magnetic field into the plane of paper and current is going like A to B. So in this case we get the force in outwards direction, means we get the force, our thumb will point in outwards direction. This will be the direction of force F1 vector. Now if we talk about the second conductor CD, we have to place our forefinger in the direction of magnetic field. Now this is left hand Fleming's rule, so I am using left hand, forefinger of left hand towards the magnetic field that is into the plane of paper, central finger in the direction of current, then our thumb will point towards the right of the wire like this. So this is F2 vector. So now we can see that these two forces are acting in opposite directions and outwards. So in this scenario these two forces will move like this, so they will repel each other. That means if we have anti-parallel currents, then the wires will repel. That means anti-parallel currents make the wire repel, and if the currents are parallel then the wire attract. If we talk about the magnitude of these values, so these will be the same because we are not changing any factor na. So F1 will be I1 B2 because F1 is acting because of B2 L sine 90, that is I1 B2 L, and B2 is mu naught I2 2 pi r, that means mu naught I1 I2 L upon 2 pi r. This I am talking about AB. So if I want to find the value force per unit length, that is a small f, then it will be F1 upon L and it will be equal mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r. So there is no change in magnitude, only the change is in direction. For CD again, F2 is equal to I2 B1 L sine 90 is equal to I2 B1 L, or if we put the value of B1 then we get mu naught I1 I2 L upon 2 pi r. This is the force acting on the second conductor. If we want to find the force acting per unit length, then it will be F2 upon L and is equal to mu naught I1 I2 2 pi r. So magnitude is same in each case. That means whenever we have two conductors having currents I1 and I2 and are small r distance apart, then the force acting per unit length will be mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r. This factor is same in each case. whether you are seeing force at CD, whether you are seeing force at AB in parallel current condition or in anti-parallel condition, this value of force per unit length will remain same as always, but the directions are changed depending on the direction of magnetic field. If the currents are parallel, then these forces attract each other. If the currents are anti-parallel, then these forces repel these wires. Okay, now by using this value mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r, we can also define 1 ampere. Okay, let's see how we can define 1 ampere using this formula. So I am going to define what is 1 ampere. So for this we have small f is equal to mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r. Now let us assume that I1 and I2 are equal and are equal to 1 ampere, means the current flowing in the two wires are equal to 1 ampere, and these wires are placed at a distance of 1 meter. Okay, and the distance between the two wires or the two conductors is 1 meter. Then in that case, this is small f, force acting per unit length, this is force acting per unit length, is equal to mu naught I1 I2 upon 2 pi r. Now this will be equal to mu naught into 1 upon 2 pi into 1, that is f is equal to mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 and 2 pi, that means 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter, because it is force per unit length. So what we conclude that 1 ampere is that value of steady current which is flowing in the wire, in the two parallel infinitely long wires of negligible cross section placed in vacuum, because we have considered mu naught, that means these wires are placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter from each other, and the force produced between them is 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter of their length. दैट मीन्स 1 एम्पियर वो करंट है जो दो कंडक्टर्स में फ्लो हो रहा है, और वो कंडक्टर्स कैसे हैं, दोज कंडक्टर्स आर टू पैरेलल infinitely long and almost negligible cross section and are placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter from each other. मीन्स इस सारे सिचुएशन में अगर आपके पास दो कंडक्टर्स हैं और उनमें उनके बीच में जो फोर्स एक्ट कर रहा है, फोर्स पर यूनिट लेंथ एक्ट कर रहा है, दैट इज 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter, then the current that was flowing in those conductor is called 1 ampere. I repeat once again, the situation is we have two conductors, these conductors are parallel, infinitely long, of negligible cross section, placed in vacuum. So in all these conditions some current is flowing through them, and the force acting per unit length between these conductors is 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. Then in whole this setup, in this situation, the current that is flowing in the two conductors is called the 1 ampere current. Okay, so let me write the definition of 1 ampere. 1 ampere is that value, 1 ampere is that value of steady current which on flowing in each of the two parallel infinitely long conductors of negligible cross section placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter from each other, okay, at a distance of 1 meter from each other, produce between them a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter of their length. So this is not the force, this is actually the force acting on their length, and its value must be 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter in all these consideration. Then the current that was flowing in the two conductors is called 1 ampere. Now this is important. You must know how to define 1 ampere by using this formula. So 1 ampere is that value of current which is flowing, in each of the two parallel infinitely long conductors of negligible cross section when placed in vacuum at a distance of 1 meter from each other, produce between them a force of 10 to the 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter of their length. So from here you connected from here that 1 ampere is that value of a steady current that produce between them a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter of their length under all these conditions. These are all the situation कि आपका system कैसा होना चाहिए जिसके लिए आपने ये formula define किया है. Okay, so this is the force that acts between two parallel current carrying conductor. In the next video we will study about the torque. So till then, keep studying and stay safe. Thank you.